Well, hello to my Sunday school friends. It is good to see you. If you live in Amherst or around here, school is over for the year and you have gone into summer vacation. I'm very happy for you. I hope you have a wonderful vacation. It'd be a good time to read some books or to take care of your brain a little bit, but we'll talk more about that as we go forward. At the moment, I am glad that you made it through the school year and that you now have all this freedom in front of you. We are still going to do these Bible stories every week, though, so if you have, now that you have extra time, if you wanted to draw me a picture of any of them or send me questions about any of them, you can call me, you can text me, and I would love to talk to you. So, if you remember, last time we talked about David making just a huge mistake. Remember, he interfered with someone else's marriage. He had someone killed. He didn't do the right thing as king. It was a huge mistake. And we talked together about how God can forgive whatever mistakes you ever make. Remember that? Okay, and at the end of that story, we said that David and Bathsheba, after they got married, they had a little son named Solomon who was supposed to be the next king of Israel. Okay, that's where we start today. David had other sons, you know, and one of them was a boy named Absalom. And Absalom didn't want Solomon to be the next king. He wanted to be the next king. And he decided that he was going to make it happen. Wow, he just didn't want to wait for his dad to die and then have the struggle. He was willing to kill his dad. He was willing to kill David. He was willing to have a rebellion against his own dad and to become the king. And he worked on it for many years. He was a young man. He was a handsome man. He was very popular with the people. Every day he would stand by the gates of Jerusalem, and when strangers would come in, he would talk to them. He'd ask them what their problems were. He'd listen to their stories. He'd say, "Oh, if only the king cared enough to help you. You know, if I were king, I would help you because you seem like a very nice person." And over time, David was doing his work being king. He's having wars. He's defending the people. He's very, very busy. Over time, Absalom came to be very, very popular with the people. And when he thought he was ready, he asked his dad, David, one day, "Can I go to Hebron?" Remember, that's a place where people would go to worship sometimes. And David thought that was a beautiful thing, that his son wanted to go to church, his son wanted to say his prayers or spend time with God, whatever it was. So David said, absolutely. So Absalom went to Hebron, but at Hebron, it was nothing to do with God. At Hebron, he called together all his friends, and he had himself proclaimed as the next king of Israel. Or, you know, the king of Israel right now, I guess. And word of this got back to David, and David was horrified. David was terrified that Absalom had gathered soldiers and friends around him. He had proclaimed himself king, and David, the only thing that he could do was that he and his servants had to run away from Jerusalem, lest David's own son Absalom kill him. So David, with broken heart, and his servants ran away from Jerusalem. Now, the priests, they wanted to bring the Ark of the Covenant with David. They knew that he was the righteous king, that he was the king that God had chosen. And David said to the priests, no, go back, and maybe you can send me messages if you need to. All right, so he sent the priests back, and there were some of his servants, one in particular, a very wise man, wanted to come with David, and David said, no, you stay, befriend my son, and if you learn anything, tell it to the priests, and they'll get a message to me. All right, so very shortly, Absalom came to Jerusalem and he found that his father had run away. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to kill his father. He wanted to get rid of David so he could be the king. But David had run away, and Absalom and his friends decided they were going to send the army out after David that very night. But this wise friend of David's, this wise servant of David said to him, no. That's not a good plan. David's gone with the most skilled warriors of the kingdom. If you send your friends and this little tiny group of people out to catch him, they're all going to be killed and you will lose your life. What you need to do is you need to put together a big army and then go in search of your dad. Well, that seemed like good advice. to Absalom. He didn't know that this man giving him the advice was also working for David. He sent the servant sent a message through the priest to David: get across the Jordan River, get out of here, because Absalom is really serious about this rebellion. So David and his servants crossed the Jordan River. They got away, and Absalom went to work building a big army to go hunt down his own father, to make himself king, even though God wanted Solomon to be the next king. There's lots of lessons here that we can talk about, that when we try to do stuff that God doesn't want us to do, it goes badly. When we don't take care of our responsibilities, sometimes horrible things come down the road. David had made terrible mistakes in his family, and now some of those things are coming back to haunt him. There's just a lot for us to think about, but this is where we're going to pause for tonight. David has run away. He has some of his servants with him. His son Absalom has declared himself king and is building an army to go after his own father. Meanwhile, Solomon is supposed to be the next king. What do you suppose is going to happen? Well, I will see you next week, and we will cover exactly that. You take care, my friend. Good to see you. Bye-bye.